Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Philosophy Cultures episode. I'm here as always with my philosophy bro, Emils. What's up, man?
What's up, man? What's up, cousin?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Oh, good.
Great. And so today we will introduce you to the founder, or maybe co-founder of Berkshire Hathaway, the Oracle of Omaha.
Yes,
That
sir.
is Mr. Buffett.
Yeah, Warren Buffett for sure.
And
Hey,
so, what else are we going to talk about him, Emils?
we will cover his background story, his
Yeah,
background, and uh, and talk about some lessons we can learn from his life, and yeah, some ideas we thought were interesting. So hey, check it out.
check it out. Mr. Warren Buffett.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Why did we
Yes.
choose to talk about him? Why is he so important? Kind of a dumb question. Uh
Well,
but
it belongs to our podcast, so
the
uh
dumb question, yeah.
but yeah, like he's the most iconic investor, right? So
Yeah,
so so yeah, he's kind of known as the money guy in a sense. So yeah,
exactly.
if we make a really yeah, I don't know even what to call it, like just interesting summarization.
Yeah, exactamente.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
about
I
you?
really yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean that's kind of all about it to say like yeah, he's I think we could even say that he's the most successful investor, maybe. Um And yeah, I mean, we did an episode of Berkshire Hathaway, and then we found it obvious that we should do something about Warren Buffett as well, right? Um,
Exactly. So this kind of is a follow-up on the Berkshire episode, right? Just
yeah,
more just with a more of a focus on Warren Buffett. So
exactly. Yeah,
that's what's up.
good, good.
What's up?
So, shall we start with his history, or like,
Yeah,
yeah, his past?
for sure. We can do a short summarization, and then we can maybe bring up some interesting ideas, just like we have done with the in the previous episodes, right?
Yes, sounds great.
Perfect, perfect. So yeah, Mr. Wait. Damn. He actually has a middle name. He actually has a middle name. Do you can you it was written in the Wikipedia. Damn, this wasn't a good start.
I think it was Edward.
Edward, yeah, exactly. So we have Warren Edward Buffett. And he was born in the 30th of August, right? I think
Yeah,
is the right way to say it. In 1930, in Omaha, Nebraska, United States. And he was born during the stock market crash, right?
yeah, the Great Depression.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Great Depression, exactly. And what I want to like jump to is that his dad during that time, he like founded like it was a I think he worked as a stock salesman, right?
yeah,
And during that time, like 1 year after Warren was born, he got fired from his job. And pretty soon after, with the savings that Warren's dad had, he started like his own stock firm, if that is how you call it, or
yeah.
like
He started his own company, basically selling stocks.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, and basically like it's Yeah, from a very early age, like Buffett was interested in numbers, right? And in reading.
Yeah, I think from one video I watched about Warren Buffett, it said that, as his father was so into the stock market and selling stocks, and uh, yeah, that was basically his thing. He started to read his books, and that's where he like learned everything, or not everything, but that's where he got he got the inspiration to basically, um, uh,
Yeah, where like everything started basically, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And that is kind of what I've written down as well. Like Buffett got into books early on, and the first investment books he read was in his dad's office.
hmm
And like soon he like had read all the books, and yeah. And by the age of 11 he bought his first shares,
hmm
which was like three shares for himself and three for his sister, Doris.
yes,
And if we jump forward to age 19, I'm just gonna like quickly, run through the timeline, if that's okay. You
yeah,
can just
we can add later, I guess.
Yeah, and you can just jump
Yeah,
in if you have like interesting information to add,
yeah,
for sure. And yeah, at the age of 19, he applied to Harvard because his dad wanted him to go to university, even though he already uh, could. He was already well off in terms of financials, but his dad insisted, and then so he applied to Harvard. To Harvard, I think it was a business school, right? Like to Harvard Business School.
hmm
But he got denied, which was like a blessing in disguise because um, afterwards, I think he was like looking at some other options, and he saw that at the Columbia College, I guess it is how you say it. He saw that there were like these two teachers, and one of them was called Benjamin Graham Graham. I'm not sure how you. I think it's Graham, right?
I think it's
Graham.
Graham as well. Yeah,
Yeah. Which one? Which was like one of his idols-ish. Well, one of his like favorite writers. I would almost maybe like to say because he had written like two books which Warren really enjoyed. Which was one of the books was Security Analysis. And I think the other book like rings more bells in people's heads, which is The Intelligent Investor, which like is like kind of a iconic book if you want to get into or learn about investing, which I haven't read by the way, but I will for sure. Even yeah, especially now that I know that it was a kind of a significant book for Warren, at least when he was pretty young. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, soon after he like uh he I think he applied right to Columbia College, but was also denied because he applied too late. So he wrote this like a letter to Benjamin Graham where he like explained that he really like loved his book and yeah, and, like just gave his reason for why he should be accepted.
but was he denied from the school because it says that he was basically studying at Columbia University, and that's where he met Benjamin Graham.
Well, in the Founders podcast, and I think even in his documentary, I think it's said that he wrote the letter, like he wrote a letter to Benjamin Graham, and this what there was this other teacher, and his surname was Dodd. I'm not sure of his like first name, but that there were like these two guys, and they had influence over the what was the right word?
Application.
Yeah, yeah, the application process, right?
Yeah.
Um, and which allowed Buffett to, yeah, kind of get in to
Oh,
that
okay.
college because he was too late. He applied too late to that college, so he had to write that letter. As far as I know, or have like heard. So
Okay.
yeah, I would assume that's accurate, but like yeah. But yeah, and while he was in Columbia Business School, and was mentored by yeah, Benjamin Graham, which is by the way considered the father of value investing, so that's kind of cool. Soon after, like I think, but Warren offered to work for Benjamin Graham, but was denied. But then later on, Graham offered Buffett a job, which yeah, just I think helped him massively in his knowledge. And yeah, in his career, I think basically, I think yeah, this mentor plays a pretty big role. So yeah,
Definitely. Yeah.
and then yeah, by age 26, Buffett's wealth has grown to 140,000, and Graham decides to retire and close his business. And by then, or like after that, Buffett returns to Omaha and opens Buffett Associations. I don't know what LTD stands for.
Limited, I think.
Limited, okay, right. And seven family members and friends invest like $105,000, and Buffett invests $100,000 into that company, I guess. Or yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, and yeah, he was 26 when he did this, and then by age 27, he has like some more he like yeah, creates and manages some more partnerships, so more capital, I'm assuming. And by age 28, wait, after 3 years, I don't know why it says 3 years, but like let's say after just a few years, or I don't know, a year, he manages to double the capital like he is managing. So yeah. And then by age 29, Buffett meets Charlie Munger through this mutual friend, which was Dr. Edwin Davis, which also was considering investing, or like yeah, giving some capital to Warren, and then later, like yeah, he decided to give Warren like I think it was like also like some like $100,000 himself, because Warren reminded him of Charlie Munger. So Warren wanted to meet Charlie Munger, and that is kind of where I will, yeah, kind of that's kind of my summarization of his like beginning, because like later on he just yeah, kind of just yeah, gets richer and richer. Like for sure there are like significant moments, but yeah, it's kind of where I want to end, and like yeah,
I think we kind of covered the rest of the story in the previous episode, which we did on Berkshire Hathaway, because that's kind of when he and Charlie Munger takes complete control over Berkshire Hathaway and decides to make it a holding company and yeah, so on.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
exactly, exactly. So do you want to add something, or are you
no, I mean I have some points based on
the
his life,
story?
obviously, yeah.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, I think you covered kind of most of the like the main points, so to say.
Right, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Just a
All right.
small thing I would add is just that he bought his first property at the age of 14, which was kind of crazy, which is also one of my points, which we could discuss.
All right, all right, all right, all right.
Uh, and I think we could sort of relate it to his entire childhood because he started his whole entrepreneurship journey when he was just 6 years old, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he started by selling Coca-Cola cans and made, yeah. So he basically bought them from his grandpa, right?
I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure about that information. So,
Anyway, it was one of his relatives that had a sort of a store or like a store, and he basically accepted that well, his relative accepted that Warren Buffett could take some uh, Coca cans and
right.
basically sell.
Mm,
Um, and he made a 5 cent profit on
right.
that
Right.
at 6 years age. Um, and yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy. And he like sold a lot of other things as well, like chewing gum,
yeah,
newspapers, right? I think he was it that he worked for like this newspaper. Uh, I don't know during what age. I'm not sure, but I heard it on the Founders podcast. That he yeah that he had like this like some routes he did like where he delivered a newspaper, and he yeah earned pretty good. Yeah, I think he earned like even more than the average teacher. So I guess this was in high school actually. I'm assuming I'm assuming this is in high school. Yeah, I think it is because uh Warren's dad during that time they moved from Omaha, or wait, did you say Omaha? It's
Omaha, Omaha,
Omaha, Omaha,
I think.
Omaha and Nebraska to Washington D.C. because his dad is like I don't know the right way to put it, but it's like his
Congressman.
yeah, how do you say, like he becomes a congressman or
Yeah, I think he was voted into the Congress, right?
yeah, yeah, I think that's the correct way to say it. And it was during that time he like started to deliver newspapers, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. And the funny thing is that he started to deliver sort of newspaper for one sort of company, and then he realized that hey, I can do this for another one. So I think he also got hired by another company, newspaper company, and start selling their newspapers as well. So he
Okay.
basically so he did like for every time he did his route, he just he just he just sold like two newspapers, or actually he didn't sell them. He was just delivering them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he was delivering for like two companies at the same time,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which kind of made it more profitable than
For
doing it for
sure.
just one. So yeah,
Yeah,
that was a nice strategy as well.
for sure. And I think even in the Founders podcast, it was said that he like created like other routes as well,
Mm,
and it came to this point where he had to like he could or he like hired others to deliver the newspapers for him. So he like created this mini organization within a organization, you know.
yeah,
So for sure, very smart and yeah,
yeah, he was very
yeah,
strategic, if I could say it like that.
yes,
Because I think that even when he was like 6, 7, 8 years old, maybe 9 or 10, he was selling like lemonade. And then he realized that, why should I sell on this particular street when on when there are like more people passing on the other,
Yeah.
you know, and just to realize that for a 7 or 8 years old kid
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
can be something.
Yeah.
Not to mention that he was 6 when he started, you know, his Coca-Cola selling uh, business, you know. But yeah,
Yeah. For
uh,
sure.
that's certainly something unique.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
For sure.
Do you have any
Oh.
points? Yeah, I'll just let you take one point and then I could get back to one of mine.
For sure. So we have kind of talked about like his childhood, right?
Yeah.
We have kind of covered it. Uh, but yeah, I want to focus on one of the kind of the lessons which you can take from, uh, which kind of stems from his family dynamic, which
Yeah.
is this idea of inner and outer scorecard, which was talked about in the Founders podcast, where he covered the book. I think the book is called Snowball, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But yeah, it kind of covers like his life, like yeah, like more focused on his private life almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is this like huge difference between his dad and his mom, where his dad has like lives by a outer scorecard. And I do you are you like familiar with the concept?
Not exactly, no.
Okay, well, like it's basically that inner scorecard is, or wait, yeah, his dad lived by a inner scorecard, and which means that he just didn't care what other people thought of him,
Mm-hmm.
which just made him like just more independent minded, and
Mm-hmm.
also just more of a happy person, I would argue. Because his mom was the total opposite. Like she cared what the neighbors would think of, I guess, her and her family, which kind of led to a abusive relationship between, yeah, like Warren and his sister and the mother, because the mother was like pretty abusive at times,
Yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah. They said that in the podcast.
where she would like really like I don't know, emphasizing like what you call it. Uh, I don't want to say I don't want to say bully, but it kind of I guess you can kind of almost put it that way, where she
Yeah.
would like yeah bring up like some I don't know imaginary and I guess also some real flaws and like uh kind of make Warren and his sister feel bad about them and like yeah just not the best. I would just toxic. Yeah, I think that's the right word.
So she was kind of abusing them psychologically,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
mentally.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's a really important idea, which I think we can take with us.
Yeah.
Uh, and also you can see it like with his dad as well, because like we had the Great Depression, right? And people stopped like everybody started to like be more conservative with their money, right? Because you don't like want to spend too much. You want to save as much as you possibly can during these financial crises. And yeah, he just all of a sudden does this really unconventional move with starting like his own stock. Wait, you had the better word for it.
I don't know, stock selling company or something like that.
Yeah. It sounds good. It sounds good.
Broker. I think it's called broker company or something. Yeah.
Brokerage. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and I even think there were like other examples of that as well, which yeah showed his dad being like yeah just living by a inner scorecard.
Yeah, that's interesting. And you know, I think that Warren still has. I think he's sort of behaving based on his dad's behavior, or like he's kind of imitating his dad behavior in sort of a having this more inner scorecard. Because I read somewhere that there was this technological bubble when it came to the stock market, and where everyone said that, hey, like, why don't you invest in like uh tech companies? And
Yeah,
this was in the beginning of the oof, I'm not sure about it, but maybe in
two
the
2000s.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Mm,
Anyway, like everyone started to invest in these tech companies, and he was like, "Nope, I'm not gonna do it." And in the end, when this bubble basically popped,
yeah,
everyone just lost a lot of money, and he doubled his. I think he doubled his investments or like net worth.
right.
And I think that's also some sort of a power to just don't let others affect you and just do what you think is right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, And yeah, I think it was also mentioned in his in the founder podcast that he's also like a very sort of calm person that is just acting based on I don't know.
Yeah, he's really like he's pretty he's a pretty clear thinker in terms of like
Yeah,
investments.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it was there was this like story in the Founders podcast as well where there was this I don't know who the guy was, but he was like some salesman or some, yeah, some guy like that. And he had like I don't know how, but he like somehow had like a I guess pretty much yeah, it was like loads of dog candy and some other thing that he couldn't figure out how to sell, right? So he called Buffett to help him sell it. And yeah, like there was this like I guess it was like some kind of food as well. Like it was like dog candy and some kind of food, which
Hmm.
wasn't really like good for consumption
Yeah.
since it has like it had like yeah what you call it?
A lot of artificial ingredients or whatever you want to call them. Like,
No, no, but like the date had
oh, they were expired.
they were expired. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
exactly. So they weren't like good for consumption. So Warren Buffett just thought that he could sell the food. I don't know what the food was, but he basically like sold it to some farmer, I think, which had like animals and stuff. And I don't know what he did with the dog candy, but he managed to sell that as well. And yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was kind of a interesting example how he did it, and also yeah, just an example of his like kind of yeah, clear clear thinking, I think, or yeah.
yeah. Well, was the food supposed to go to humans or animals?
I think it was meant for humans actually.
Okay, well, good that he sold it to feed animals instead.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
And that way he managed to save the other guy's job.
Okay.
So it was something like that. So yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think he was pretty young then as well.
Then I think
When
another story of that would be like when he helped one of his father's friends that had some struggles with his business. He reached out to Warren Buffett and said like, "Hey, can you help me with?" I don't exactly remember what the matter was, but anyway, like Warren managed to help him, and he was just 15, 16 years old.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I think everyone around him became very aware of his business mindset and just his mentality of sort of getting things done. And yeah,
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
just solving issues, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, it felt like all of his, getting rich. Well, I think everyone has, or at least some people have this getting rich mindset. But I think everything, or according to some sources, um, everything began when he was like young and he realized that, you know, they lived through the Great Depression and they lacked some money in the beginning, um, until his father made it like until his father like actually became successful in what he did.
Hmm.
Um, and that's when I think he just realized that, hey, I need to get rich or I need to figure it out.
I,
But that's yeah.
I think that wasn't his main motivation.
Maybe not the main motivation, but I think that that played some sort of role in his mindset and just
Yeah,
just the way of doing business.
for sure, for sure. I think at least what it was said in the Founders podcast is that his main motivation was that he wanted to just be independent and own his
Yeah,
own time and like yeah, do his own thing.
yeah, that too. Yeah,
Because yeah, he I
yeah.
think his I don't know if it was his grandfather or uncle or somebody that got Warren Buffett like this job at a grocery store.
Oh yeah,
And then the takeaway from that experience for Buffett was that he didn't like hard work. And
yeah.
yeah,
Didn't
this
he also think that it was kind of boring doing it?
yeah, because you don't learn much doing that
Yeah,
either. So yeah.
yeah. It was a lot of talk about freedom now that you said that he
Hmm.
really liked to control his time. And I think it was in the same episode that the snowball
Book was covered or
episode. Yeah, I think it was episode 100 from the Founders podcast,
okay.
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have another point or moment in his life that you would like to bring up?
Yeah, I have like a point from his time when he was like in a partnership with Benjamin Graham. And basically, Benjamin Graham's tactics or like strategy was to just look at numbers, while Warren Buffett started questioning that and he started looking at the management as well and the people within the business.
Right.
So I think that's really interesting, because I think it's really easy, especially for investors and for higher management, to just look at the numbers within a business than the actual people working in it, which is actually the foundation of the whole business system.
Yeah.
Um, and so I did my bachelor's degree, and we had to do no my bachelor.
I think you said it right. Bachelor's degree.
Yeah. So for my bachelor thesis, we had to do like a qualitative. We did a qualitative research, and we basically um, what do you call it? We basically interviewed several managers, and one of them said that management has to stop looking at just the numbers and start focusing on the people as well and what they need.
Yeah, I
And
love that.
that's
Yeah.
and that's something that really stuck in my or that actually popped up in my mind when I heard that, like when I heard that Warren Buffett's strategy was mostly based on the management
Yeah,
and
yeah,
not
yeah.
not only numbers. Um, so yeah, that's basically my point.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
I also
yeah.
like that he started to question um, Benjamin Graham, because I don't think questioning like I don't think it. I don't think it's sort of very negative as long as you do it in a sort of proper way. I think it's always good to be critic
For
uh,
sure, for sure.
to your mentor, to your sources, to your teacher, to whatever.
Yep, yep,
Um,
yep.
you know, and maybe just ask yourself how could you improve it, or yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
or something.
That's I love that. Um, and I think we have like talked about it in one of our really early episodes where we talked about something we were like just something philosophical, if that's a word.
Mm,
And it is that you shouldn't identify with your ideas, like the ideas you are like coming up with, or like they aren't you. So,
yeah,
which I think it's really important to remember for everybody, uh, to yeah, just not to get offended by the questioning,
yeah, exactly.
and
Well,
which would like
yeah,
make the whole process easier as well.
yeah, and I don't think I think sometimes you should actually question yourself as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah,
take an outside approach to your way of thinking and your way of behaving. Um, just to sort of realize something that you it was this guy. Oh, what's his name? He went like viral, or maybe he was viral even before the COVID-19 pandemic.
Mm,
Uh, um, he had these theories.
like David Icke, I don't know.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I just now that I said it, it was like he said that it is sometimes like if you let's say take 1 month when you're just looking at yourself from an outside perspective. So
Yeah,
you let's take the approach that you're not you, but you're looking at yourself. You will realize so much and learn so much about yourself and your bad and good habits and like how much time you spend on certain things. And yeah, that's from one of his interviews anyway. But I found that really interesting
yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah,
because that's sort of a questioning yourself and like what am I doing right now?
yeah.
Why am I doing it for? And what is the reason behind it?
Hmm.
Um, so yeah,
For sure. I think that's a useful idea.
yeah, and that's interesting also with his sort of when you look at Berkshire Hathaway, they are they are not interfering with their like subsidiaries so much, but they are just letting them do their thing, and they
Yeah.
are just more of a holding company.
Yep,
Um,
yep, yep.
so that's all. Yeah, that's another way of seeing how he's thinking in a sort of acquisition process, right? So he's just acquiring businesses that have good management and have a competitive advantage, and yeah, have very good potential, and then just let them run themselves, sort of.
Yeah, and I think that's also a way of managing, right? Because like
Yeah,
these companies that he acquires become his assets.
yeah,
And so he has a pretty big say, I think, in a lot of ways. But he just lets them continue on as they have, I guess.
yeah,
So that's yeah,
yeah,
I like during the documentary which we watched, he comes across as just yeah, just pretty chill, like a chill guy actually.
yeah,
Like he like lives in a pretty humble, like a pretty like humble. I don't know if that's the right word, but like in a pretty like a
in
normal
humble
house.
conditions. Yeah, yeah,
He like doesn't drive like a super fancy car. He lives like pretty like average guy in a way. For sure, he has his like private jets, or he had, or he, yeah, he had, at least as I know, as far as I know. I don't know if he still does, but I assume he do. I assume he does. But otherwise, like he just seems like this low-key guy, and he doesn't seem too much of a control freak where he has to control everybody else, which
Yeah.
is like really uh noticeable with other like entrepreneurs. Like,
Yeah.
so that's kind of refreshing in a way. And I think that that has also like uh helped with his reputation, because I think most people see him as a pretty likable guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree with you. It feels like he's still with his feet on the ground, so to say,
Hmm.
and not up in the sky. Um,
Which is
and yeah,
really fascinating. Like, it just it is just a sign that he really loves to do what he does. Like
yeah,
for sure he like his goal once was to be independent and stuff, and he has achieved that. And like I don't know, he just really likes to do what he does. And in the Founders podcast, in the like Snowball episode, um, David Senra had a really good comparison. He compared Warren Buffett with Enzo Ferrari,
yeah,
where they both from a very early age like knew what they wanted to do and what they were like good at.
yeah.
And I guess this could be my next point actually, um, which is that like they are like both of them like Enzo Ferrari was, and Warren Buffett still is like kind of obsessed with what they do,
Yeah,
which means like for sure they are really well respected like in their professional life. But at least what I have heard now about like both Warren Buffett and I think even about Enzo Ferrari, like their personal lives aren't the best, let's just say, because he has like a pretty interesting story with his wife, which like he like she plays a really big role in his life. Like she really helped him become who he is in a lot of ways. Because I think she was a major part of him, like in that like she helped him kind of love himself in a way.
I lost you.
Damn. What did you hear?
I just hear the last thing I heard was about his person. You said something about his personal life. I just heard personal life, and then,
Okay,
yeah,
personal life. Then just let's just
to recap,
we can take it from there.
yeah,
So yeah, so what I was saying is that the people like Warren Buffett and Enzo Ferrari, like their personal lives often comes like they are like everything is kind of out of balance since they focus so obsessively with their professional life, their personal life. What was the right word? Like
was kind of suffering.
yes, suffering because of that. And we can see that with his relationship with his wife, which for sure like she was really important to him because she really like helped him kind of love himself because of his like mother. She was pretty toxic to him and his sister. So yeah, she really helped Warren like love himself and like yeah, like in a more wholesome, emotional way. She really like was a major support for Warren Buffett. But and yeah, they marry. They yeah, they are married like a lot of years. And I forgot what Warren Buffett's wife, what her name was, but
I
uh
think it was Susie Thompson,
yeah, Susie, yeah, exactly.
if I'm
So she was by his side for many years, but then with time, she kind of started to feel that she wanted to like get more attention to herself since every time like yeah, just Warren Buffett is obsessed. So like he spends like tons of time during the day just reading, right? Which made his wife, like Susie, feel neglected, I think, with time, which made that she moved like did she move I don't know. Did she move to San Francisco, I think? Because
I'm not exactly sure about the city, but I remember that they said in a podcast that she moved to an apartment
yeah,
together with her tennis coach.
exactly. Which kind of is my point.
Yeah,
Because like for sure, like Warren is good with numbers and with business stuff, but he didn't really seem to appreciate many of the other areas in life. It does, or it kind of feels like that. She's like really in this. What was I think it was was it the right part of the brain which was like more like analytical?
could be. Yeah,
I'm
could
not
be.
sure, but
I'm
like
not sure either.
he's like really that part of the brain where
Yeah,
he doesn't really like yeah, he didn't really, or it was said in the documentary at least that he really like he didn't really appreciate like the beauty of architecture or the things like that in life. So yeah, which kind of made me put everything in perspective. Like for sure, Warren Buffett is like this iconic guy, but yeah, I don't know. It might like come off wrong and maybe even like I don't know bad, but it seems like he has gotten like so much respect in the world just because he is good at managing money. Like just is just like money-ish. Like yeah, I don't know. It kind of seems a bit empty to me, if you know what I'm saying. Like because he hasn't built or I guess he has helped many people to like benefit from his knowledge and stuff, which I think is kind of the main thing he is contributing with. But I don't know, it somehow feels a bit empty to me.
in the sense that he has neglected his family, or
Well, yeah, or that his whole thing is just like money in a way. I don't know. I don't know. It's so something kind of gives me this hollow feeling about him. Like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should read more about him, but like, as much as we have like heard and like listened about him and read about him this week. I don't know. I don't know. Or what do you think?
No, I was like, I think that's one of my points as well. Because I was thinking, I remember one part of the founders episode when they mentioned that Warren's, so like Susie said that, a life is not just about money.
Yeah.
And Warren was like, yeah, that's completely untrue. So he, as you said, he was like completely obsessed with money and just getting richer and richer. And I remember that, they also mentioned that at one point of time, Susie was like, Warren, hey, you need to stop. Like, we've got enough money. That's
Yeah,
enough.
yeah.
And Warren was like, yeah, he couldn't basically cut it off. So he just continued. And I think that's when it was also mentioned that that's why. Now, I don't know if that's, I don't know if Warren said this or if it's just sort of a conclusion based on what has been said, but they said that Warren has a lot of, or like that Buffett has a lot of regrets
Yeah.
because he didn't spend a lot of time with his children. And I think he was around like 40 years old when he tried to sort of recover the time with his children because he realized that, yeah, I don't actually know them so well.
Yeah.
Um, and another weird thing was that even though he started spending more time with his children, he didn't learn them about managing stocks,
Yeah.
money,
Yeah.
which is completely his thing.
Yeah, it's really odd. It's really
Yeah.
odd.
Like we're not gossiping now. We just found it peculiar.
It was written in one of his biographies. So
Yeah.
we and the book was written by a woman who spent like 2,000 hours with Warren Buffett interviewing Buffett for the book. So uh yeah. That's the source.
Yeah. Um, but I don't know, like because it could be seen also with, for example, Elon Musk. He's also obsessed with what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
So he's sleeping on a couch. Well, I think he used to sleep, or I don't know if he still does. But
Yeah.
he used to sleep on a couch in
In his
in the Tesla
office.
factory, yeah,
Yeah.
and just work, 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 work. And it's kind of, yeah, it feels like all of these billionaires, millionaires, and so on have kind of a cranky relationships or marriages. Um, because look at, for example, Elon Musk. It feels like
Yeah.
he's also he has this divorce, or yeah, he had a few wives. Jeff Bezos, or we
I,
have
I I think Jeff Bezos like divorced his wife just to enjoy the good life. Let's just say.
I don't know. I'm not sure about it, but yeah, I mean, it could happen to anyone, even though if you're not a millionaire or billionaire. But I think it's much more likely to happen when you're a very busy billionaire.
And
Uh,
and and that's also like I think a really really important lesson. Like I I actually don't know what the point is in being in being a billionaire. Like I don't I don't get it. Like it depends on what your values are for sure, but like like in my opinion, like you're pretty much like set for life if you have like 10 million or like or even or like I don't know 100 million, like because you like with that money you can easily try out many other businesses and like see what works and buy assets. Like you don't need like that much more money to live a happy life. You really don't.
I, I just think that with a lot of, I think Warren Buffett also said this, that getting rich is one thing,
Yeah.
and staying rich is another thing. Those are like two different skills.
Yeah.
And I think that once you get rich and once you have a lot of money, you will also have a lot of responsibilities. I think especially if you're getting rich in a way that you really like and that you're obsessed with, it will become very, very hard to just leave it, as you have put so much time and effort into it. It's like I think some people are saying that their businesses is like their baby.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's like hard to get away from. On the
yeah,
other hand, I kind of understand your point as well, because what's the meaning of having like billions and billions when you can't actually enjoy them, right?
yeah,
So everything, so they are basically getting rich or wealthy just to have more freedom. But when you have this wealth, you can't enjoy your freedom. That's kind of a, you see, it's kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
contradicting.
for sure. And
Um,
which is really interesting. So that kind of leads me to this person which David Senra brings up. Like he reads like a bunch of biographies, right? And his personal blueprint, like the entrepreneur, the person that he wants to like model his life after is this guy named Ed Thorpe. Thorpe. And the thing that he has done is like he has gotten really wealthy and he has just come to his senses, let's just say, where he just has said stop to the wealth building,
mhm.
which is
Yeah,
kind of yeah meaningless once you reach a certain point, in my opinion. Uh, Depends on what your like calling in life is and so on, but like yeah, uh, I don't think if we just look at these things that really matter, like which is like family and stuff. Yeah, but like he has basically like yeah said stop at a certain point and just he doesn't really uh involve himself in like businesses that will take away much like of his time.
yeah,
And that is kind of what I would like to do as well. Like yeah, yeah. When I have family, like I want to just yeah, be with the family, man. Shit.
yeah. I think it's about balancing things, and yeah, and in the case of Warren Buffett, maybe he didn't manage to balance it off so well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know him personally, so that's why I don't like to conclude stuff about people or assume stuff about people that I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
But but as we are just discussing and having a open discussion, I was just yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Mm.
I get it. I get it. I'm just kind of sharing my yeah ideas, I guess,
Yeah, yeah,
because I'm not jumping to strong conclusions myself, but like it's
mm.
kind of yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
kind of yeah. I think if he has regrets, it kind of says a lot.
yeah. I'm not sure who said that. I just know that I got it from the Founders podcast.
Yeah, well,
Um,
it's
but
if
I don't know if
it
it's just Warren Buffett or somebody else that said that he has regrets, but that's just where I got it from. So I don't know.
well, I think it was written in the biography, so yeah.
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any other points?
Not anything right now that I could think of.
Okay, okay.
Do you have another one or two or three?
I think we should say something about Charlie Munger, but I'm not sure what. Like
Yeah.
we I mentioned him in our summarization, but I'm not really sure what to say about Charlie Munger. Like he was a lifelong friend to and a business partner as well, right? To Warren Buffett, where they together manage Berkshire Hathaway. I think we will have to do an episode on Charlie Munger.
Yeah, exactly. And then we could tie them all together because now we have done an episode of Berkshire Hathaway, followed by Warren Buffett.
Yeah,
Okay. And yeah, maybe next one should be about Charlie Munger.
yeah.
Um,
Which is a really interesting person. Like I think he was in the Warren Buffett's documentary as well. And he's just old. He's really old school. Like he's really strong-headed. Like he has his really strong opinions. And yeah, I like those kind of person. I like yeah, people. So yeah.
all right.
I'm not sure. I mean, he loves McDonald's, he loves Coca-Cola. He makes a lot of money. Uh he has had two wives. We didn't mention the second wife.
Yeah, there was actually a maid that was introduced to him by his wife.
Yeah.
So that was very unique.
And the thing is, like, he never divorced his first wife because even though she like traveled the world ish with this tennis coach of hers,
Yeah.
tennis coach, which actually he wanted to marry her. Like the tennis coach wanted to marry her. She never she didn't do it because she thought that it would like break Warren.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. David Simon really like he said it in a interesting way that Warren and Susie had like this mother-esque relationship with Warren Buffett. Like it wasn't like yeah, the romance really tapered off
Yeah.
with time. It I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like I'm not 100 about that, but like it's kind of sort of what it looks like.
But that was so interesting because I think they also mentioned in the podcast that when Warren Buffett had to sort of go to an important meeting with his wife or somebody from his family, he usually was assisted by his wife, by Susan. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah,
yeah, that's interesting. Well,
interesting. Yeah,
interesting stuff, guys.
yeah.
So yeah, Warren Buffett next. Hey.
Warren Buffett next.
No, Charlie Munger. Damn,
Yeah,
I'm tired.
um, yeah. And then I don't think we have. I think we have covered a lot in the Berkshire Hathaway episode as well. Um, Regarding his sort of investing strategy and what happened with the stocks uh, for Berkshire Hathaway
Hmm.
before he acquired all of it and so on and so forth. So
Yeah.
I don't
For
think
sure.
there's a point to repeat it all
Nope,
again. Um,
for sure. All right, guys. So the podcast isn't over yet. We would like to bring up one last thing that me and Costin thought that we forgot to mention during the podcast, and which is that Warren Buffett was terrified, really terrified of public speaking, right? And which is important to bring up because he speaks in front of thousands of people today in his Berkshire Hathaway meetings and stuff, and also in front of a lot of school students and so on. And yeah, where he got over his fear of public speaking was in this. I think it was like this Carnegie public speaking course, which he did. And yeah, the diploma from that course is still in his office until to this day, which says a lot because he doesn't have any diplomas from any of the schools he has yeah finished. So hey, a random fact. And yeah, yeah. Thank you for listening. Um, we hope that you enjoy this episode and that this knowledge will help you navigate life's spin.
Exactly. And don't hesitate to write in the comment section what you thought about the episode, what you think about investing, what you maybe think about Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, other great investors. And yeah, if you appreciated this episode and other episodes, please push the follow button so that we could see each other develop and grow. And with that being said, thanks for today.
Until next time.
Adios.